Health is like money. We never have true idea of its value until we lose it. Hello everyone. Today we are going to continue with chapter number 15, Why Do We Fall Ill? In this session, we are going to discuss about various causes of diseases. Study of causes of diseases is known as etiology. Etio means causation and ology means scientific study of it. This word is originated from Greek. So, we are going to continue with etiology part in this particular session. Any substance which causes a disease by its excess or deficiency or absence is called a disease agent. It means disease agent can be any of the substance which will be in excess or absent or in less amount than the required one. Cause of diseases or disease agents can be categorized into two categories: primary or immediate causes and contributory causes. Primary or immediate causes are the first level causes of occurrence of diseases, whereas the contributory causes alone cannot produce disease symptoms but increase the chances of occurrence of diseases due to primary causes. Thus, contributory causes can be categorized into secondary or tertiary causes for diseases. The primary or immediate causes are again of 5 types: biological agents, chemical agents, nutritive agents, physical agents, and mechanical agents. The biological agents are also called as pathogens. Pathos means disease and genesis means producing. Again, pathogens is a Greek origin word that means disease causing microorganisms. These are those microorganisms which, when successfully infect human body, multiply and produce toxins in incubation period, which interfere with normal functioning of the body and cause a disease. This includes bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoan, rickettsias, etc. Second type of primary causes are chemical agents. These chemicals may be producing within the body or from outside of the body. If the chemicals are within the body, then they are termed as endogenous chemicals. That may include urea, uric acid, hormones, enzymes, etc. These are the products or byproducts of the biological processes which are taking place in our body. And if the chemicals are external, then they are known as exogenous chemicals or exogenous agents. That may include pollutants like gases, dust particles, metals, fumes, and allergens like pores, pollens, etc. In class 7, you have already studied about deficiency diseases. These are the diseases which are caused due to deficiency of any particular nutrient in the diet, and that is why the concept of balanced diet was introduced. So, these nutritive agents like minerals, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and water, etc. can be the cause of diseases. Their deficiency will lead to a diseased condition into our body. Some physical agents like heat, cold, Radiations, sound, etc. also can be the causative agents of the diseases. Heat may lead to heat strokes, cold may lead to frostbite, radiations may be carcinogenic, that means can cause cancer, and sound can lead to impaired hearing. So, these are also the primary causes of the diseases. The fifth and last agent is mechanical agent that may include injuries, fractures, sprains, dislocations of the bones, etc. Out of these 5 types of disease agents, biological agents or pathogens, exogenous chemical agents like additives, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, etc., nutritive agents, physical agents and mechanical agents are collectively called as extrinsic or external factors. On the other hand, endogenous chemical agents, genetic mutations, are collectively called as intrinsic or internal factors affecting the human health. So, here we can classify these agents based on their mode of transmission. If they are within the body, then they are called as intrinsic factors, and if they are from outside, then they are termed as extrinsic factors. Other than primary causative agents, contributory causative agents are also the agents which cause diseases, but they cannot produce disease symptoms. Rather, they will increase the chances of occurrence of diseases due to primary causes. They are again divided into 2 categories, that is, second level causes, which decreases the disease resistance power, and third level causes, which are responsible for operation of secondary level of causes. For example, poverty, lack of public hygiene services, etc. Communicable diseases are those diseases which can be transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person. Study of modes of transmission of diseases is known as epidemiology. Here, we have to find out means of spread of diseases. That means how exactly the diseases get spread from a reservoir or a source or an infected person to a healthy person. There are mainly 2 modes of transmission of diseases, that is, direct transmission or indirect transmission. In direct transmission, the pathogens are transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person directly. That means without any intermediate agent. And in indirect transmission, pathogens can be transmitted from reservoir or infected person to a healthy person through some intermediate agent. Let us see both of them in detail. As we have discussed that during direct transmission, there is no intermediate agent involved. That means the transmission occurs directly from an infected person to a healthy person. Let us see one by one how exactly it gets transmitted. The first one is by direct physical contact with an infected person. Direct physical contacts like handshake, kissing, hugging, wrestling, etc. can be the cause of contagious diseases like chickenpox, smallpox, measles, leprosy, ringworm, gonorrhea, syphilis, etc. Some of the diseases also get transmitted during sexual act, and they are termed as sexually transmitted diseases. Examples of it are gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS, etc. Corona also can be included in this category of transmission. Whenever a person comes in a contact with COVID positive person, at that time the transmission of disease takes place and chances of getting disease to that healthy person will increase. Certain diseases can also get transmitted by contact with soil. For example, tetanus. Bacterial tetanus gets transmitted when you come in the contact with soil, or many of the diseases get transmitted when our injured parts are exposed with soil. So, the bacteria or the disease-causing microorganisms which are present in the soil get chance to enter in our body and cause disease. Animal bites of an infected animal can also be one of the cause of direct transmission of disease. For example, disease like rabies get transmitted by dog bites. Saliva of an infected person can also be the cause of diseases, or it will transmit the disease from an infected person to a healthy person. Whenever an infected person is coughing, sneezing or spitting, at that time his droplets will infect the healthy people in his vicinity. These are common in overcrowded and poorly ventilated areas. In such places, droplet nuclei recirculate and easily enter in the body of a healthy person from an infected person. Diseases like pneumonia, diphtheria, influenza, tuberculosis, common cold, whooping cold, etc. get transmitted via droplets of saliva. Certain diseases get transmitted during pregnancy from an infected mother to the fetus. Such type of transmissions are known as transplacental transmission. Placenta is a disc-like structure that connects womb of the mother with the fetus and is responsible to transfer the nutrients and oxygen from mother's body to the developing fetus. But that can also be the way of transmitting diseases from mother to the fetus. Certain diseases like AIDS, syphilis, German measles, etc. get transmitted from mother's body to the fetus via transplacental transmission. So, these are the various ways of direct transmission. Direct transmission can be through contact with soil, animal bites, droplets of saliva, placenta, or direct physical contact with an infected person. Now, let us discuss about indirect mode of transmission of diseases. Pathogens or disease-causing microorganisms can be transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person through some intermediate agents. That can occur in the following ways. For example, through the vectors. Vectors are those animals or insects which will not get infection, but they will be transferring the disease-causing microorganism from an infected person to a healthy person. For example, vector of malaria is female Anopheles mosquito. Vector for dengue is Aedes mosquito. Vector for cholera is housefly. Vector for sleeping sickness is tsetse fly. Vector for Kala Azar is sandfly. So these all occur through the vectors, and these vectors will not get infection, but they can be spreading the infections from infected person to a healthy person. Air, water and food can also be the cause of diseases. Contaminated water and food spread many diseases from an infected person to a healthy person. And airborne diseases mostly get spread due to close proximity with an infected person. So, air, water, food, etc. can be termed as vehicles of the disease causing microorganisms or pathogens. Belongings of an infected person or articles used by an infected person are also contaminated, and such contaminated articles spread diseases from infected person to a healthy person. Using handkerchief of other people, towels of other people, utensils used by other peoples, etc. can also be the transmission of diseases. Such diseases are known as formite-borne diseases. And now we are very well aware of how our unclean hands can spread disease. During this pandemic situation, we have understood the importance of cleaning our hands to prevent spread of coronavirus. So, these are the various ways by which diseases get spread from an infected person to a healthy person. We will continue with the chapter in the next session. Till that, read the chapter thoroughly and be safe.